Hello, I am Professor Benjamin Suisenstien, and today I have another video on the history of Switzerland, my home in true love. Today I will be discussing how they prevailed during World War II, but before I can tell you that story, I have to tell you this story. The day was June 1st, 1291, when my great-grandfather marched from northern Italy over the dreaded Alps and discovered the greatest country on the planet, Czechoslovakia. It was a dark time and newly formed Czechoslovakia was disgraceful. My grandfather realized this 6 years later, and then my grandfather burnt everyone to the ground and claimed Switzerland. It was a great time for the prosperous Switzerland, and the lands were filling with people from all around Europe. The Swiss were perfecting the art of cheese making.
Hello, welcome to the Swiss fabrication of Swiss cheese. I am your host, Sam. Let's forget last name. Okay. Today we are going to take some American cheddar and turn it into Swiss cheese. First you take acrylic paint. You squeeze it out like so. Then you take all of it and you put it on top of the cheese.
Fascinating.
You keep playing with it, and eventually, once it dries, you will have Swiss cheese. Now I know it doesn't look like much, but it actually is a delicacy.
Sam, I was told that Swiss cheese has holes in it by my superior. Can you show us the fabrication of... Oh. Wow.
Creating elegant chocolate that everyone enjoyed. Yodeling from mountaintops for the entire world.
Now, there were two types of yodeling that the Swiss people perfected. First, of course, there was the traditional mountaintop yodeling.
Yodeling.
But then, the young children made a new, modern version of the yodel.
And of course, protecting the money of American serial killers from the US government. About 750 years later, the dark times came when Switzerland's neighbor Germany began another world war.
It's happening.
Let's move out.
To create a new empire under the rule of Adolf Hitler, or as I like to call him, my uncle. Many Swiss people were at first okay with what was happening in Germany, and Switzerland stayed neutral the entire time. But then Jews began fleeing to our country, trying to flee the Nazis. At first this was okay, but then the interest rates at our banks went through the roof as more and more Jews took control of our once prosperous Swiss banks. Then our leader, Henry Gusan, demanded that Jews leave our country so that the Swiss economy would not plummet. Meanwhile, in Germany, Hitler rallied the citizens behind him and began to hunt more and more Jews down.
Meanwhile, in Germany.
Oh. Heil Hitler! Oh. Heil Hitler! Oh. Heil Hitler!
The Jews left Switzerland and they were massacred, so then we felt bad and allowed them to continue coming to our country. Finally, the war was over. However, Germany was still divided and we felt very bad. The Germans fought over who ate butter correctly.
I like to eat the butter on my bread on the top. I'm struggling, as you can see. And I ate before the camera started rolling, but that's okay. Butter on the top.
butter on the bottom. Guten Tag.
We Swiss eat the butter on the side. Oh, change be good. Butter, nah!
Keeping them divided and creating a Germany where no one was happy.
Bring it on! Why is this damn Berlin Wall coming down? It's because you eat it with the butter side up. You can.
Then a few years later, the Germans realized that however you eat the butter does not matter, and the Berlin Wall came down. Switzerland was once again able to trade with other allies, and I was able to see my uncle's grave.
Good afternoon, everybody. My name is John Raymond, and welcome to Real Time with the Nazis. We're here today with the myth, and the myth, maybe the legend, Adolf Hitler.
Hello, John. How's it doing?
It's pretty good to have you on the show. I've always wanted to talk to you about the recent propaganda, colonialism, intervention, all that stuff that you've been heavily involved in. But you put out a statement recently about possibly ending your own life.
It's something that I don't want to touch on right now, and I would appreciate sensitivity.
I am so sorry for bringing that publicly onto the show, but I want to ask, for real, why, I hate to dive in deep into this, but I want to know, why build up all this time in the war, trying to take out so many big names, and then throw it all away? I just am a bit surprised by your decision to do that.
Well, it was a tough one, and my people and peers decided to come. I just can't take it anymore.
I am so sorry about that. I can see you getting very emotional, but I want to hear more. I want to hear more about what have you been doing with.
Stuttering is against my religion. Next host, please. Hello there.
Can I come in?
Yes, kind sir.
Just wasn't sure if this was the
Oh,
right
hello. Guten Tag.
Before we start, I'd like to point out that maybe you shouldn't kill me, because I know you killed the last host. He's kind of bloody.
No, sir, I would never kill an obvious German.
How nice of him. Thank you, Hitler. Well, I am feeling very reassured right now, so let's get right into it. Mr. Hitler, we have just received word that the Russians are coming to this bunker this very moment. What do you respond?
Auschwitz!
Okay.
Now Switzerland is the most neutral and prosperous country in the world, since we don't allow terrorism and an orange president.